Imagine being only a young king, barely in your 20s, and yet shaking the foundations of the entire known world. Imagine crossing deserts, mountains, and rivers, defeating mighty armies, and building an empire so fast that the world could not even understand what was happening. That was Alexander the Great. From 336 to 323 BCE, the Macedonian Empire became one of the most explosive powers in history. It was not a long empire. It did not last for centuries like Egypt or Persia, but in a very short time, it changed politics, war, culture, and leadership forever. And here is the controversial truth. Alexander was not just a hero, he was also a destroyer. He united the world, but he also burned cities, crushed resistance, and built power through violence. So the real question is not only, how great was Alexander? The real question is, what kind of greatness are we talking about? Because in history, greatness can mean glory, but it can also mean blood. Alexander was born in Macedonia, a small kingdom in the north of Greece. At first, people did not expect much from him, but he had one thing that changed everything: ambition bigger than his world. He was trained by Aristotle, which gave him not only military vision, but also a deep understanding of philosophy, politics, and culture. That matters because Alexander was not simply a warrior. He was a thinker who knew how to use ideas as well as swords. When he became king, he inherited a strong army from his father, Philip II. But Alexander took that army and turned it into a world-changing machine. He moved fast, struck hard, and never allowed his enemies time to recover. That speed became one of his greatest weapons. And that is the first major lesson from Alexander. In politics and war, speed can be more powerful than size. At the Battle of Granicus, he broke Persian resistance. At Issus, he faced the Persian king Darius III and won again. At Tyre, he showed terrifying patience and determination by besieging a city that thought it was untouchable. At Gaugamela, he defeated the Persian Empire itself. In that moment, the old order of the ancient world began to collapse. Alexander was not just conquering territory, he was conquering the imagination of the ancient world. But here comes the deeper political question. Was he building an empire or was he building a legend? Because Alexander understood power as performance. He knew that fear, myth, and image matter in politics. He presented himself as unstoppable. He wanted his soldiers to believe he was chosen by destiny. He wanted enemies to fear him before battle even began. In a very modern way, he understood the politics of image. That is something today's leaders still study. Power is not only what you do, power is also what people believe you can do. But Alexander's empire was not only about destruction, it was also about fusion. Unlike many conquerors, Alexander tried to blend cultures. He adopted Persian clothing, married into local elites, and encouraged Macedonians and Persians to mix. He founded cities, the most famous being Alexandria in Egypt, which became centers of trade, learning, and administration. This was his boldest idea, not just ruling the conquered, but mixing the conqueror and the conquered into one new political world. Now this is where the controversy becomes powerful. Some people say Alexander was a visionary who united civilizations. Others say he was an imperial invader who forced a foreign order on people who never asked for it. Both views carry truth. Yes, Alexander spread Greek language, ideas, and urban culture across vast lands. His empire helped create the Hellenistic world, where East and West interacted like never before. Science, philosophy, architecture, and trade all grew in new ways. But at the same time, many cities were destroyed, many lives were lost, many cultures were absorbed under the shadow of conquest. So Alexander's legacy is not clean, it is not innocent. It is a mix of brilliance and brutality. That is the second lesson from Alexander. Empires can create cultural exchange, but they often do it through violence. His army was another key to his success. The Macedonian phalanx was disciplined, organized, and deadly. It used long spears called sarissas, forming a wall of steel that terrified enemies. Combined with cavalry charges led by Alexander himself, it became one of the most effective military systems in history. But even this great system had a weakness. Alexander's empire depended too much on one man. That is the third major lesson. A state built around one extraordinary leader is powerful but fragile. Alexander conquered a huge world, but he did not build a stable structure to hold it together after his death. When he died suddenly in 323 BCE at only 32 years old, the empire broke apart. His generals divided it. The dream of one united empire collapsed almost immediately. That should make every leader think carefully. A nation can win battles with a genius leader, but it cannot survive long-term without institutions, succession, and structure. So what is Alexander's true legacy? He was a military genius. He was a political symbol. He was a cultural bridge. But he was also a conqueror whose empire burned out because it was too dependent on his personal force. And maybe that is the most important lesson of all. Charisma can win the world, but institutions keep it. Power can build an empire quickly, but only systems can preserve it. Ambition can inspire a generation, but without stability, it becomes dust. For modern youth, especially in countries building their future, Alexander's story gives both inspiration and warning. Dream big. Move boldly, think beyond borders, but never forget that true leadership is not only about conquest, it is about building something that survives after you are gone. That is the challenge Alexander could not solve. He conquered the world, but he could not organize eternity. It is Dan 18, and this is the political story of Alexander the Great, the man who moved faster than history itself. Follow for more global power stories and comment. Should the next episode be the Roman Empire or the Mauryan Empire? Please comment below.